office, we have 4 candidates running for 3 open positions. And only 3 were able to be with us today, so we're welcoming Blankenship, Gokhan Cukurova, and Jaclyn Scafidi. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give a 2-minute opening for each candidate, and then we are going to have questions with 1-minute answers. And we'll try to get as many questions as we can. So we're going to start with your opening statement.
Thank you. I'm Blankenship, 20-year resident of the Medinah area. Raised 2 daughters here. Played soccer in this district. My wife actually coached for a couple of years because we did not have anybody, and then started coming to the meetings, sitting out in the audience like you were. And after complaining for several times to my wife said either shut up or put up, and I ran for office. That was 2 terms ago. I am now a sitting commissioner. I've been here. I'm a Navy vet, and I am a director for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, which has given me a lot of insight as to how to manage large-scale budgets. And I understand budgeting and being on the inside as well as being on the outside of looking in on large-scale governmental and small-scale governmental gives me a very unique view that most people don't possess to understand how to execute things and how to run overall programs and to look. One of the things to be advised on with most folks is we have a set package. Unlike a business to where you're able to run R&D to come up with new ideas, new things, we are set. So one of the ways that people are going to bring up of looking at funding is either cutting expenses. The other one is to raise sales. Unfortunately, the only sales we have is our programs, the land use, and the land stuff, which again is set for us to be able to do, and that's what we're going to look forward to. And if I'm elected, I'd like to be able to continue to look at how we can cut costs in some things, and how we can better partner with our surrounding communities of businesses to be able to expand our income. So, thank you.
Our next candidate.
Hello everyone, Merry Christmas, by the way. Looks like Christmas outside. My name is Gokhan Cukurova. I'm honored to be standing in front of you here as a candidate for the Park Commissioner. I sat in those board meetings for several years, and most of the time I was, as John will attest and a couple other commissioners are here in the room, know that most of the time I was the only resident sitting, listening, learning, or advocating for our residents. I learned a lot from those meetings. I am a small business owner, parent of 3, children's book author, and many other hats I wear around. I also worked as a board of directors, director of a board in a nonprofit that operated in 44 countries. All those experiences and attending to parks or park activities allowed me to get a more in-depth view of how our park district works. And if elected, I would like to put all these experiences to work, because I know how much those parks and programs mean to our communities, our families. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jaclyn Scafidi. I'm 38 years old. I'm a lifelong resident of Medinah. My husband and I, we bought our home in Medinah, which has been in our family for 3 generations. We have a long history in this community, and for good reasons. It's a wonderful neighborhood to live in. It was an amazing place to grow up, and it's the perfect place to raise my daughter. Medinah has given so much to my family over the years, and I'd love an opportunity to give back and to help secure Medinah's future for generations to come. And being a commissioner will allow me to do this. With my extensive background in accounting as a business owner and a board member on a nonprofit, I have the necessary experience to be positively effective in this role. I will make sure to put 100% into this position and to listen to our community's concerns so we can keep Medinah the perfect place to grow up, live, raise a family, and retire. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to our first question, and we're gonna start with candidate Cukurova. And our first question we're gonna do is the same one we did at our prior. What is your favorite park or recreational activity offered by the Medinah Park District, and what makes it special to you?
I grew up playing soccer, and until recently, maybe too much information, I lost my father last year due to a long battle with cancer. Until then, I put more time into coaching and really enjoyed it. It was something that I spent time playing, and I put that experiences and expertise into our kids. Very proud that we averaged 7 goals a game when I coached. It was unforgettable.
Thank you. Candidate Scafidi.
I have a lot of memories of the Medinah Park District. My favorite is basketball. I mean, I grew up, this is where I started to learn basketball in 2nd grade. I tried baseball, softball, soccer, but basketball was like the one that always stuck. So I really enjoyed starting my basketball career at Medinah Park District, and then also growing into Lake Park and being a part of the girls basketball team in the high school. I also enjoy seeing my nephew play, and then my niece soon, she'll be getting into sports, and I'll get to enjoy her too. So it's probably my favorite activity at this park district.
Okay. Candidate Blankenship, what is your favorite park or recreational activity offered?
I have several. Growing up with or being here and watching my daughters grow up, the Toboggan Hill is one of the all-time favorites to come. The haunted house, when we used to have the tours down in the basement and seeing the creativity from the staff on the different things that they would do, brought back great memories. Followed with the Family Fest, seeing everybody here and the different events that would go on. The pie eating contest, which I happened to win one time, was amazing. And then the last one is, I love the touch a truck, when we had that here in the parking lot here and the different big trucks, because in many ways I still haven't grown up, and it's nice to come out and see these big vehicles, so.
Great. Okay, this time we'll start with candidate Scafidi, and the question will be, what specific actions do you plan to take in your first year if elected?
Okay, so one of the top priorities in the very beginning would be to learn what my role should be. I know that there are members that have been on the board longer and have experience, so my first role would be to learn from them exactly what I need to be doing, where we're at in the park district and where we need to be. One of the things that I personally think needs to kind of be looked over is the growth in the park district. I know over the years it's kind of gone down. There's not the park district. I think the park district is beautiful. I think we need more engagement from our community, and we need to kind of expand what we're doing so that everyone wants to be coming here and enjoy what the facilities have to offer.
Candidate Blankenship.
The first thing I want to make sure gets done if I'm elected is the park board manual for how the board operates. It's been long overdue and is sitting out there and needs to be accomplished in the first year as to rules and regulations for the board to follow. The next thing is working with the executive director to go over an assessment of need of individual positions. Do we really need all of the full-time people that we need anymore, and see if there's maybe a way to outsource, share with other park districts for those positions, and then to be able to see if there's a potential for changing or automating or doing more robust capabilities in that aspect. And then last is to look at different corporation partnerships with the various corporations that are nearby our park district, utilizing them for community events or for their picnics or events of that nature. So, thank you.
Okay, Jaclyn.
Wasteful spending is gonna be the first thing I'm gonna look into. In front of me I have a lot of documents that I am going through line by line. In the past several years, I sent a lot of FOIA requests to the board, to the park district, and I know we can go through certain items and bring the park finances back in place. Soon we're gonna have a meeting, we're gonna have our budget information more openly presented. I am more than happy to go through every item. Also, John and I have a working relationship. All these meetings I have attended. Wasteful spending, community outreach, top 2 items for me.
Okay. We're gonna start with candidate Blankenship, and the question is, compared to other park districts, are the salaries for the staff too high?
I would not say they are too high compared to other park districts, because you have to look at us, we're a very small park district. What I would say, in what was brought up earlier, and I will reiterate, is that talent costs money. And in order to keep good talent, you're gonna have to spend some money for that. Yes, we could probably lower the salaries down, as was brought up, a percentage, or do something of that nature, but then you risk losing good, talented people. I think what we need more on that is to examine what are we having them do, and what is the value that is being brought to the park district by that salary, by that individual.
Candidate Cukurova.
Yes, talent costs money, but also we have to compare Medina Park District to similar sized park districts. We can't offer salaries comparable to Chicago Park Districts or Arlington Heights Park Districts. So salaries have to match the performance. I'm more than happy to pay staff, I'm more than happy to approve salary increases or bonuses if the performance expectations have met.
Thank you. Candidate Scafidi.
I, being a lifelong resident, I know many of the staff members have been here for years. I know that they have the experience, they have the ties to the community, and I believe that they deserve the salaries that they receive. I look at our facilities and I think they're beautiful. I walk in here, you know, for basketball games for my nephew, and it looks better than when I came to the park district as a child. If people think, if the community thinks that the salaries are too high, one of the things we could do is go over what everybody's roles are, and if we need to shift and put certain roles on one person so that their salary makes sense for what they're doing, that's an option. But I don't think lowering anybody's salary or hiring someone at a lower cost is gonna benefit anybody other than the budget. I mean, sorry.
Okay, we're gonna start with candidate Cukurova, and the question is, what is your knowledge of the working budget of the district?
Like I said in my opening statement, I have reviewed the budgets in previous years, and I am familiar with our numbers on reports, how to read them, and there is multiple line items that we would have to go through to make our finances great again, I should say, because I do suspect that in certain areas we're falling back, and I would not want Medina to come for a referendum for a tax increase because our finances are not doing well.
Candidate Scafidi.
I'm just gonna go back to the previous question because I just wanted to add one more thing. If we were to hire other employees at a lower rate, one, they're not fully familiar with the procedures of this park district. Two, over time, their salaries would increase anyways because people deserve raises. So then you're just back to where you started when you made those budget cuts on salaries. So by keeping the people that you currently have and at the salaries that they currently are at, you're not hindering the growth of the park district. And then as far as the current budget, I did sit in a meeting 2 months ago. It looks, from what I could see, we're not in the red. I'm sure that there are improvements that can be made. And I do look forward to working with everyone to do that.
Great, thank you. Candidate Blankenship, what is your working knowledge of the budget?
So there are two aspects to the budget. There's the process and then the budget itself for the actual expenditures. The process is, and most people are aware, is there's 3 drafts that have to be reviewed at each 3 subsequent meetings before the final meeting, to where you're going to review it and then it actually gets posted. So putting this together is not a simplistic thing, and it takes time, effort, and energy to go through. And it's thousands of lines to go through, to go line by line on everything. And we have a good team in our executive director and our finance person who does go through that and evaluates it with all of the department heads to make sure that it is a fair representation. Then it's brought to the board. The board then has to determine if there's some value in it. And there's questions, and some things are inaccurate, some things need to be adjusted, but it takes time. So that's the overall process, that's the overall thing. Then we submit that, and we ask for a certain amount from the township and from the assessor. The assessor may come back and downgrade that, keep it, or upgrade it.
Okay, great. All right, the next question, and I think we have time for 1 or 2 more, is we're going to start with candidate Scafidi, and the question is, the Medinah Park District may have lost opportunities in the past to upgrade park facilities due to missed state grant opportunities. How will you ensure that the executive director and staff take the advantage of financial opportunities available?
Well, I think it's important to stay on top of those grants and make sure that they're being brought up when they're available to every meeting, or even outside of monthly board meetings, and trying to prepare ahead of time so that we don't miss any grant opportunities. It's just staying informed and having a dialogue about it, and making sure that, you know, we're ahead of deadlines and getting those submitted.
Okay, candidate Blankenship.
So the grant opportunities that can be missed for a variety. So you'd have to look at it on a case-by-case basis on how they were missed in a specific state. However, having a set of goals for our executive director to make sure that he or she is staying on top of the grants that are available, making sure that we are, as board members, are helping out wherever possible. But the main thing is that we cannot be everywhere all the time looking at these things. We can present anything that we're hearing, finding, or attending any of the meetings to our executive director and have that individual pursue those goals or grants, and then making sure that we are getting timely indications from our executive director as to what is the status, where we are, filings, and anything that may be causing a delay.
Okay, great. Candidate
Yes. Grants play a big role in every park district's budget. It is the board's duty and responsibility to the voters, to the residents, that we stay on top of deadlines, and we keep the executive director and the superintendent of finance to those standards. It's our job, the board's job, I should say, to keep everything up to date and stay updated by all the deadlines, so we don't miss anything that we should not have missed.
Okay, this question we're going to start with candidate Blankenship, and the question is, how do you see the relationship between the board and staff?
The relationship between the board and staff should be a harmonious one, with the exception of we should not be in dictating to staff members what to do, how to do things. That should be filtered through the person that we have hired, our executive director, to be able to manage and direct. I think one of the situations or fears is that when a board member comes through, the staff feels uncomfortable in performing their duties because now you have the big boss walking around rather than the executive director, who is their direct manager, to be able to do that. So we have a good working relationship. We have the ability for staff to be able to reach out, but at the end of the day, we have hired an executive director that should be leading the staff. We should have all of our confidence and our support through our executive director to perform that function.
Candidate Cukurova.
Like John said, it needs to be harmonious, but it is not the board member to get in direct communication with the staff. It is the executive director that reports and bring in issues to the board. But at the end of the day, board is responsible to the people who elect them. I am against micromanagement in any shape or form, but also as a board member, if elected, I will not be shy of bringing any concerns to the executive director if I have any issues, if I notice anything, any issues with any staff member. But we have to keep one thing in mind every single time we walk through that door. We're responsible for people who send us here.
Okay, Candidate Scafidi.
I think the relationship is important. We need to work as a team, but also differentiate our different roles. The staff, they're in charge of running the operations within the park district, and the board needs to oversee and do checks and balances and make sure that everything's being followed. We represent the community of Medinah, so it's our job to bring concerns and to speak with the executive director and make sure that everything is getting done properly, and that concerns are being taken care of.
Okay, we're going to start with candidate Cukurova. And the question is, how much time are you willing to spend serving on the board and working on the budget?
Whatever it takes, but in terms of working on the board, I am one person who publicly shared in social media that I did not want to be here. I said, anybody who is willing to, more qualified than me and even more passionate than me, come up, I will knock on doors for you. I have 3 young kids, but I've seen no one come up other than a young lady next to me, and I'm grateful for her to step up. Whatever it takes, because I put my name on here on the ballot, and whatever it takes will be dedicated for the community.
Okay. Candidate Scafidi.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
How much time are you willing to spend working on the board and the budgets?
So currently I run 2 of my own companies. I'm on the board of a local nonprofit that directly benefits families in Medinah, Roselle-Bloomingdale, Itasca. So if I am elected in this position, I am going to be stepping down as a board member on the nonprofit so that I can take that time that I use to run the nonprofit and put it towards the community and as a board member. So for me, the nonprofit is a 3rd full-time job that I have, so that time will definitely be put towards looking over the budget and fulfilling my board duties.
Candidate Blankenship, how much time are you willing to spend, or do you spend on budgets and the board?
On the budget, I spend a significant amount of time looking at stuff, going through and doing analysis, especially now that we've gotten the packets, used to be all in paper, and that took a long time. Now that we get them in PDFs, we're able to scan through and look through things a little bit easier and quicker. And again, this is would be my 3rd term if elected, so I have shown over time for special projects, special events, special things whenever board meetings have happened, as well as I used to travel quite a bit for the VA, and I used to take meetings in my hotel room while on travel and everything else for support of the board.
Okay, we're going to start with closing statements. I hope you all got your questions answered, and we have 1 minute, and we're going to start with candidate Scafidi.
I did not write anything down for my closing statement. I just want to thank everyone for being here and for asking the questions that you have. I really feel passionate about being a member on this board because this is home to me. I want to see our future generations be able to use the facilities just as we are now. I want to be able to see our elder community to have access, to a beautiful fitness room that was just updated, or, you know, our walking paths being updated wherever they need to be. You know, our programs being full, you know, and being able, maybe if they're so full one day that we can, you know, open up more teams and, you know, engage more of the community. I would love to get to know my neighbors more. I feel like Medinah has lost some of that. And I think it's key that we start going out there and bringing our community back together like it was when I was a kid.
Candidate Cukurova.
Thank you, everybody, for coming here and listening and asking questions. That means you are passionate about your own community and own parks. And we are we're in a unique situation with Medinah, where people can send their kids to Itasca or Roselle, or people can go to different programs in different neighborhoods. We should stop that migration, and I would love to work with our community and our park district to make Medinah a place that other communities try to get into our programs. I have spent enough time to attend programs with my own kids, and I have a long list of items in my mind as a plan for future of Medinah, and I would love to have the conversation going on after the meeting if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Blankenship.
As my other two worthy opponents here have said, thank you all for coming out and showing passion. For those who might be watching this on the video, thank you. One of the things, if I'm elected to help and continue, is to see some of the stuff that we started with the OSLAD grant program and development that's been there continue. We are revamping stuff over with the Metra parking lot area and expansion of the volleyball sand lot. I've been in discussion with some residents as well as with the executive director on things like, can we bring some tournaments here? Pickleball seems to be phenomenal in filling the gym. Why not bring more and more to show? I know that we have suspended some of the things like the in the park, the music in the park for the time being to reassess and reevaluate on how that can grow and be more beneficial. So I'd just like to see these things that we've started, and I had a hand in it, to continue to grow. So thank you.
Thank you all for attending. Democracy thrives when we're all involved. By attending and watching this forum, you're taking a step to be an informed decision maker. Be sure to vote on April 1st and encourage your friends, family, and neighbors to do the same. Early voting starts tomorrow, and if you need more election information, please do go online to the DuPage County Election Commission. And thank you to our candidates.